It's video time again. I guess I'm kind of in a mood to share, and I think it's because of the surprising amount of people that have reached out to me since I've started sharing my journey publicly. And I kind of want to go back to my reasons for why I even did that in the first place. And um, I will have to tell you that I was super scared at the beginning to talk about my story. So, this is kind of what prompted me recording it in the first place. So, when people talk about that they've heard from God, God talked to them, I've often thought, maybe you need to go get that checked out. Something, you got some schizophrenia going on. What's happening? And anyway, I kind of, well, I talked about in the first video about how I heard that voice that day that I was in the car about, Leah, I created you. I knew exactly how you turn out with that mind that never stops and that heart that feels so much. And that was like this warm comfort. And I was thinking today about when I say that God talked to me, and I was talking to my mom about it the other day, and she said, well, how do you get that? What is it like? And I'm like, well, it's not a voice from the sky or something, but here's why I say I think it's from God. If you can understand the way that my brain works, it's basically like I have 50 tabs open all the time. I'm thinking, okay, I need to remember this for the trip. Wait, I need to get the water fixed. Have I written this down for the person that's watching my dogs? Wait, what do I have planned for today? Okay, I need to go check the laundry. Okay, so this is how my brain is working all the time. And when I've gotten 4 very direct messages that have impacted me greatly. And when those come through, as my brain is doing all of this, I get this very clear thought that comes through, and it kind of stops me in my tracks. And I feel it in my heart, my gut. So when I heard that day, I created you. You're exactly who I created you to be, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. So that day that I recorded the video, I was out working on the property and I've been kind of thinking about sharing my story, but I was also kind of scared about it because I'm like, I don't know how much I want to put all my junk out there, because once you put it out there, then it's out there. And I was also thinking, if I share my story, here's probably what's going to happen. People are going to be like, see, I knew she was a drunk. I've heard about her. See, I knew. Listen, there she is. Now the truth is out. And I don't know why that was in the back of my mind. I guess because we do kind of worry about what people think about us, right? But that day I was working on the property, and what came through as my mind was doing its normal bajillion things, this message came through. It said, stop what you're doing and record your story. And I was like, okay. Well, listen, I had on a ball cap. I had dirty hands. I was not like prepped to make a video, but I did. I sat down and I recorded it, and it ended up being like 3 parts, and they were like 10 minutes each. And I watched it back, and I was like, I said too many times. People are not, I talk too much. I took too long to tell my story. I could think of every reason why I shouldn't do anything with the video. So I sat on it for a few weeks. And I was also scared of how people would receive that, because my story is intertwined with other people along the way. And when I was trying to share my story, I tried to be very mindful of that, of not blaming anyone for the choices that I've made. You know what I mean? It's hard to do, to talk about your story without talking about other people that have been in there. So anyway, I really overthought it, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I put this out there, people are going to think that I'm saying something bad about someone else. Anyway, I could find every reason not to share it. So fast forward a couple weeks after I've made this video, and I was laying in bed, and there was something I was really wrestling with, and I was dealing with insomnia. I could not sleep. Didn't matter what I tried. Sleeping pills, all this stuff. Nothing worked. So this one night I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to pray. So I started praying, and my prayer, I don't know how to pray too well. I'm trying to learn how to do that. But my prayer was literally, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about this. What do I do? And that's what I just kept saying over and over again. And here's what came back. Share your story and see what happens. Share your story and see what happens. And I was like, God, I don't know. Oh, I'm so scared to share the story because once the proverbial toothpaste is out of the tube, you can never put it back in. And then once I've told the world I'm an alcoholic, then there it is. And now they know my dirty laundry. But I thought, okay, I asked for the answer. I asked what to do, and he told me I need to share my story. So I put something out on Instagram because I am behind the times on the technology, apparently, as the kids would say, and I just don't know how to edit videos quickly and stuff. So I put something out there, and one of my former employees said, I'll edit it for you. And she had it done within a day. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I was at the library because I don't get great internet out here, which is the trade-off for having such peace. But I was at the library and I uploaded it. And as soon as I uploaded it, I packed up and I started driving home. And it's about a 30-minute drive. And I was a nervous wreck. The entire time I was driving home, I was just like, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? What are they going to think of me? Why did I do this? Now I can't undo it. And I was very tender, very raw emotionally. I was crying, all this kind of stuff. And the most amazing thing happened. I started getting people that were reaching out to me and saying, you put words to what I felt when I went through my miscarriage, or I had no idea that you dealt with this. So many messages of encouragement, and I was absolutely blown away. And a result of me sharing the video is a friend of mine reached out to me and invited me to go somewhere that helps him. And that has been life-changing for me. And yesterday I got to spend 5 hours with the first person that I ever had the courage to tell that I had a problem. And the reason I felt like I could tell them is because they had been open about their journey. And I'll never forget his response when I told him truthfully. I reached out to him and I said, could we go to breakfast? I need to talk. And this was early 2018. And I told him, I was very honest about how bad it was. And he looked at me and he said, isn't it great to be human? And I was blown away. I still will never forget that. And I was so relieved in a way because I thought, if I tell him this, he may never look at me the same way again. He may think, what a piece of crap she is, she thinks she's got everybody fooled and she's rotten. And he also said to me, it may take you a few tries, but that's okay. And guess what? It's taken me a few tries. The longest streak that I've had not drinking was almost 2 years. But the difference is that I didn't get help that time. I thought I could do it by myself. And I tried an experiment, see if I could drink like other people. And guess what? I can't. I just can't. I wish I could. And I will tell you, there is so much freedom now in admitting that, yes, I am an alcoholic. I don't feel like I'm a failure because I realize it's not about willpower. I'm wired differently than other people. And once I accepted that and accepted the fact that though I may be wired differently, there's help out there. And if you can just reach out and talk to someone that you trust, that won't judge you. And it's surprising, the more people you share with, honestly, the more people you will see have compassion. And it is really a beautiful thing. It's something I never expected. And when I made my first video, I thought, I shouldn't share this. I'm crying through the whole thing. I've got dirty hands. I'm wiping tears off my face with dirty hands. And, I ramble and all this stuff. And I could find every reason not to share that. And I'm going to tell you, it's been life-changing since I shared it. And I'm so grateful that I've somehow found the strength to follow the messages. But I will tell you also something. I was sharing the story with someone the other day, and I said, this is why I think I've committed so much to following those messages, even when they're hard. Because I have to think back to that day of the wreck. And before we wrecked, I'm not somebody that prays. I don't talk to God, nor or I do now. I didn't then. I would have thought you were crazy if you said, well, you should pray about this. But before we wrecked, I knew we were gonna wreck, and I was so scared to die. I was terrified. And I said, God, please don't let us die. Please don't let us die. And I just see this whole thing as like the most incredible second chance. And so that's why when I get the message, I'm like, God bless, I don't want to do this, God. But I asked you to save me, and you saved me. And so I'm going to do what you're telling me to do. And I'm just going to trust that that's the right thing. So anyway, here I go crying again. That's another thing that's happened since I got sober. And I've heard this message that God created me exactly the way that He created me. I guess it's a reason that I am a very sensitive person, because in my vulnerability, I find that people find hope, or I have no idea what you guys get from my little videos that I share, but I am so grateful that it's touched at least one person, because that's all I ever hoped for. And anyway, I just want to say I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for a second chance. And it can get better. It gets better. I was looking back at my journal, and I'm like, how has this change happened in my life? And all I can tell you is it's God. Plain and simple, it's God. It's not me. I've gone to therapy for years. I have battled my mind for years. And when I could just surrender to who I have been created to be, it's amazing how the world just opens up in these beautiful new ways. So anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching, and thanks for your encouragement. And it's made all the difference in my life. So thank you. And I hope that you find someone like I did. If you need someone that you can say, hey, can I go to breakfast with you? I've got to talk about something. Because I really thought I was going to have to go to rehab. And you may have to go to rehab. It takes different things for different folks. I'm talking to you as if you are like me. But there's hope. You can change. I think the biggest fear that I had was, if I admit I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to have to do something about it. And I can't imagine being able to function in this world without alcohol, because I don't know if I can live with this brain, and I don't know if I can live with all of the feelings that I have. It's like so hard. And listen, it's a lot of work. I am doing so much work on trying to figure out how to show up in a healthy way. But it is so worth it. It's so worth it. I cannot express enough. You kind of wonder if you're doing anything right. And then I'll have 9 months sobriety here in I think the end of the week. And I look back at pictures, and I'm like, wow, that's a big change. And I look back at my journals, and I'm like, holy cow, how has this, and it's God. That's all I can tell you. I've tried everything. And I'm so thankful that for whatever reason, I was finally able to listen. But I think you have to be purposeful about finding the quiet, and stop trying to distract yourself with the noise and the activities and the busy. And if you can find some solitude and really tune in, you can hear the messages. So that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. And one day at a time. You got this. You can do anything. You just got to have faith and ask for help.